Hi everybody, Leanna again, and Momo's here to offer moral support. Sorry about the video quality, sorry about the graininess. As you can see, it's night outside, and I've packed my lighting kit for an interview tomorrow. But there was something I felt the need to respond to before the internet goes kablooey. And that is the listen and believe rhetoric that came out of an Anita Sarkeesian talk. Anita Sarkeesian is the host of Feminist Frequency, and I would like to support the ideals of Feminist Frequency. I also support the ideal of consistency. So I have a challenge for you, Anita. I have a challenge, and this is done with love, and this is done with sisterhood, and this is done with an utmost respect for your intellectual capacity and your desire for social justice. Anita, practice what you preach. Listen and believe. And I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you to listen and believe, because I've watched a few of your videos, and I've stayed quiet for a long time because I thought you got enough crap. You don't need any more from me. Who the hell am I? You did it. You did your Kickstarter. You raised your money. You're living your dream. I support that. What I don't support is that you're not listening and believing in the stories of people you believe don't exist. And in the case of your last video, it was the stories of male victims of sexual assault in video games, male victims of sexualized violence in video games, men whose violent stories were used to create a visceral reaction in the player, exactly what you rightly pointed out women go through in video games all the time. But the one part of your video I took particular exception to was the BioShock element, where you showed the Jasmine Jolene scene and claimed she was background information decoration. Actually, she was a central character in the plot, but that's not what really got me. What got me is claiming that women were uniquely background information. You left out the entire Fort Frolic level where men were murdered, posed, and then coated in cement as art. They were literally background decoration. And that's where I go, enough. And so then when I see you doing a talk about listen and believe, I am someone who has been on both sides of that equation. I have been somebody who has had to report difficult things and was not listened to or believed, but I've also been someone who received those reports. And the reality of receiving those reports is that listen and believe means you conduct a fair and thorough investigation. You do not reject the accusations of rape, sexualized violence, stalking, anything like that out of hand. And I agree with you, it happens too often. I agree with you that we need to collectively get better. But what I've learned is that men are not listened to or believed so often. They don't even come forward. They don't even tell their friends. They suck it up as long as they can, and then they have a nervous breakdown at some point. I've heard this narrative over and over and over again. Now, does this mean that men are more likely to be sexually assaulted than women? No! No! It's just that it does happen. And so when you're listening and believing, that has to be gender blind. That has to be color blind. We can't listen to white women and not Aboriginal women, which is a big issue here in Canada. We can't listen to women and not men, which is a big issue in video games. I mean, I saw somebody call Aaron Gianni, I guess his last name is, the guy who wrote the Zoe Post blog. I saw him being called deranged. He's not deranged, he's just really, really upset, and that's valid. Nobody has any right to question his sanity because he wrote an overshare blog post that I agree he shouldn't have done, but that doesn't make him deranged. Sane people can make mistakes. So, listen and believe as somebody who is a big believer. I'm a big believer in listen and believe. And this is why I'm so freaking mad right now. Because if you don't apply reason, if you don't use your eyes and ears and your gut and your, thanks Momo, and your human BS meter, for lack of a better term, your ability to think things through, if you don't use them, how do you know you're listening to the right person? I have had 2 cases where I had to investigate a complaint and found that, no, it was a little fishy. It's not that someone lied in every case. It's just that there's this thing that lying is rape, that cheating is rape, and you can believe that. That's a fine intellectual perspective to have. But in terms of whether somebody can actually police lying, we have this thing called free speech that allows people to lie. So people who come forward to event organizers like me and say, you know, this guy lied to me to have sex, he's a rapist. What do I do about that? I can listen. I can believe. I believe this person was sincere in that view, but I'm really not able to act on it. It would be a violation of this guy's rights, because lying is not a crime. Except in, you know, cases where you lie for money or something like that, or you lie on the stand. But this doesn't mean I'm insensitive, because I have seen horrible situations where people were victims of stalking, where people were victims of unwanted attention. I had to report it once at a science fiction convention, and oh boy, it was an absolute year of having my name dragged through the mud, because people didn't want to believe and people didn't want to listen. And I was really surprised at who had trouble believing that this guy was inappropriate. This guy took advantage. This guy was calling my house at 2 a.m. And telling people he'd slept with me and things like that. It was completely inappropriate. And I blew the whistle, and people started unfriending me on Facebook so they could talk trash about me and I wouldn't see it. It was that awesome. It got to the point where the organization actually had to issue a correction to their statement. It was that bad. So when I tell you, I get it. I get listen and believe. I'm speaking from experience, but we can't have any element of gender equity. We cannot advance feminism. We cannot advance the female without acknowledging that the feminine exists in every human being on this planet. Hear me out. This isn't a transgendered thing, okay? The feminine is a collection of characteristics that every person has in greater or lesser degree. Masculinity is associated with aggression, strength, and rationality. Femininity is associated with compassion, nurture, and caregiving. And too often, we are denying the feminine in the hearts and minds of men to everyone's detriment. Why do you think men can't ask for help when they're feeling suicidal? Because the feminine in the men is being rejected. They are not allowed to express their emotions in an authentic way because it's not seen as masculine. So the rejection of the feminine hurts men, and that's where I come from as a feminist, and that's when I get downright pissed off when I'm seeing listen and believe misappropriated to continue a narrative that has been called into question. I was fully prepared to be questioned when I came forward. You need times and locations and evidence, because we live in a society that believes in innocent until proven guilty. So I'm prepared to be questioned. I'm prepared to be challenged. What about you, Anita? Are you willing to practice what you preach? Are you willing to stand up for the rights of all victims of sexualized assault and sexualized aggression, sexualized microaggressions to come forward and be heard, men and women alike, because we support and defend and promote the feminine in every person, because that is the only way we are going to be equal. And us women in games are going to be seen as true equals to men. If we can pony up to the table and we can defend ourselves and our opinion is seen as valid, not crap like this that does not pass muster, that is given a pass because, oh, it's a woman, it's feminism, we have to listen and believe blindly. No! I don't want to live in the world where that's the Salem witch trials, just believing people without sense, without proof. That's tyranny. I believe strongly enough in my abilities and my ideas that I will accept a fair playing field. That's all I'm asking for. A fair chance. If I screw up, I own it. If I'm missing a piece of a story, I own it. And this crap that we're supposed to be believed no matter what, just because we're women? Now, I may be misunderstanding here, but I'm speaking for a lot of people who saw that and went, buh. So I'm doing everyone a favor here, and I'm calling this out. I'm sticking a pin in it. I'm going, this is media. This is a free exchange of ideas. So, you guys have a choice. You gals have a choice. And the guys who defend a woman's right to just accuse men, I'm going to say it, of anything they want. You have a choice. You can either take in all the information and listen and believe all the stories and separate the good people from the bad people and determine who's credible and who's not. Or you can continue your bullshit narrative that's going to continue to keep women down. And we're talking about women of all types. All types. And I'm not denying that there was a time where women weren't believed. There was a long time that people thought women didn't enjoy sex at all. And so, of course they're going to feel violated. Women don't like sex. We're sexual gatekeepers. We decide when men get some. Well, we're beyond that. And we know we're beyond that. And I'm saying right here today, judge me on my ideas. Don't judge me because I'm a woman, positively or negatively. And I think this is a discussion we have to have. So that's my challenge. It's a friendly challenge. I really want to believe in you, Anita. I really want to believe that this is just an oversight or this is just a rhetorical problem. And everybody needs to learn. Everybody needs to grow. I'm on my journey too. So let's work together and let's go forward together. Let's show the world true sisterhood. And let's stop fighting with people who want to play. So let's game. Look forward to the next Feminist Frequency video. Bye, guys.